Hello and welcome to Mexico News Network's Breaking News. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Elisa Carballo, and we have excellent information for you coming right ahead. Remember, Mexico News Network is your #1 source for reliable information on business and investments in the Americas, stock markets, bonds, and also corporate information all on Mexico. So browse through our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, our very own digital content platform. Now let's begin with today's main headlines. Due to the strong growth of the Mexican market, PolyOne Corporation Materials Company will open a new resin distribution warehouse in San Luis Potosí in Mexico. According to Robert Susie, General Manager of PolyOne Distribution, the company based in Avon Lake, Ohio, is also generating more sales to support at the regional level for the polymer distribution in Mexico. Mr. Zusi stated, quoted in an article of Plastic News, that molders and brand owners in the region rely on us to help them make complex decisions throughout the life cycle of product development, adding that their model is to grow with their customers by providing infrastructure to support their overall objectives. He actually announced that the company's commitment to the great success of its customers as well as growth in the region, and said that they can now offer their customers in Mexico shorter delivery times of material, more help in local sales, and a leading service, as well as support for the lifetime of the actual products. Finally, Mr. Zusi said that PolyOne's strategy will remain focused on providing exceptional service to its customers. Currently, the company operates 2 manufacturing plants in Mexico, one in Ramos Arizpe, Coahuila, and one in Toluca. In more information, as a way of supporting Mexican startup companies, Google for Entrepreneurs has chosen Mexico as the point of entry into Latin America. They're actually doing this by setting up their program that helps entrepreneurs build their companies through Google's resources and expert guidance. Mexico is the very first country in the entire Latin America where Google sets up this particular program, and they will do so in alliance with Central, which is a shared working spaces company for startups, in order to provide these companies with all the necessary elements to develop a successful and thriving company. During the presentation of this alliance, the General Director of Google Mexico, Lino Cataruzzi, stated, "Mexico will have one of the most important entrepreneurial ecosystems in the world during the next 10 years, quoted on an article by CNN. Gina McKeel, Partnerships Manager for Google for Entrepreneurs, emphasized that Google actually also began as a startup some time ago, and in a way, we want to maintain the idea of one. For so, it's very important to support startups and highlight their value by encouraging an entrepreneurial system." The entrepreneurial ecosystem has exploded in the last 2 years, not only by the number of new companies, but also by the amount of funds that begin to see the country's talent as a growing business opportunity, according to Rogelio Cuevas, Director of Central. Google for Entrepreneurs offers different programs and tools for startup companies, no matter what stage they are at, and Central will provide the workspaces for them. The importance is to give these entrepreneurs what they need to succeed. In more information, the internet giant Google.com gathered information that made them notice a very impressive increase of 50% travel-related queries on mobile phones. Not very surprising at all, as we all absolutely adore doing everything on our phones, which includes, of course, travel planning. However, this is quite usual, not the most fun part, as we can get many different results and end up with tabs and tabs of information. And now, Google comes to the rescue. Some days ago, they launched Destinations on Google, which is a search feature that can be accessed through Google Search or the Google app for both iOS and Android phones. It helps you plan your trips ever up to the last detail, basically in just one tab. Now, how does it work actually? It's quite simple. You start with a search of the continent, country, or state you want to travel to, and only add the word destination to the search, and then it will show up a collection of options as well as flights, hotels, and schedules. The personalization options are of course available, and you can choose to search based on your type of experiences, prices, dates, and popularity even. After selecting the preferred destination, you can tap on Plan a Trip. This is to continue with flight and hotel rates and even get an estimate of your trip, which is simple and easy. That is all Google's idea, to make everything more simple at the tip of your fingertips while waiting in line for your morning coffee, for your friend to arrive, or your date, or any other situation where you have got some time in your hands. Grab your phone, do a quick search, and decide where you will be your next adventure off to. In more information, the Mexican University Tec de Monterrey Campus Querétaro created a drone arena in the Center of Innovation and Advanced Manufacturing of the institution. Now, this was actually created in response to the great need of having a test area for the aerospace sector, more specifically for drone testing and flying, as well as for the development of virtual reality and robotics. The space was designed to fly drones or unmanned vehicles safely. It's basically a stage with a set of cameras that make up a motion capture system. The cameras beam infrared light through a ring of LEDs and in markers are installed in the drones, meaning that spheres covered in reflecting material. This light bounces off the markers and returns to the cameras. With this information, the position can be calculated precisely, almost pinpoint the position of the drone in the space. Now, roughly about a year ago or year and a half, a lot of drone-related projects were on development at the institution and were encountering certain issues, meaning that a group of professors determined a space for testing was needed, and so they did. Besides being designed for drones, the arena can also be used by students in other areas and faculties such as digital animation, virtual reality, and even for agronomy. With this space, the students can control drones with computers, analyze problems, and improve the systems. They can also learn to develop apps that could improve the uses of drones. On the long term, the idea is to create innovative projects focused on real-time control systems. Moving along to Mexico's economic indicators. Consumer prices in Mexico increased by 2.61% year-on-year in January of 2016, accelerating from a 2.13% growth in the previous month, which is all above market forecasts of 2.52% rise. Now, this was the highest reading ever since July 2015, as cost of food went up by 3.78% from 2.12% in December, and housing went up by 1.52% from 1.23% in December. They all rose at a much faster pace. Now, on a monthly basis, prices are going up by 0.38%. In regard to prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages, they went up at a faster 3.78%, which was higher than the 2.12% in December. Cost of housing unutilized increased by 1.52%, which is higher from the 1.23% registered in December. Cost of education recorded the highest increase by 4.32% from the 4.29% in December. In the meantime, restaurants and hotels decreased by 4.15% from the 4.21% in December. Transport prices went down also by 1.87% from the 2.44% registered in December. They all went down at a much slower pace. In contrast, communication costs fell by 7.57%. On a monthly basis, consumer prices all went up by 0.38%, following a 0.41% growth in December. The core index, which actually strips out some volatile food and energy prices, rose by 0.19% on the month, bringing the annual rate to 2.64% from the 0.31% and 2.41% respectively registered in the month of December of the year 2015. Sadly, this was all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you were watching Breaking News by Mexico News Network. I'm your host, Elisa Carballo, and log on to our website, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, for positive, reliable, and very interesting information all on Mexico. Follow us on social networks, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and we will see you next time.